Alright, welcome back guys. We're going to go through a little bit of a time shift because the last video I recorded was like 4 months ago. The Catnip video, I mean. I'm not talking about the last video on my channel. But, like 4 months later, I think it's time for me to finally finish this video. Now first off, I want to say, with that huge bundle of catnip I shown, the one I rubber band up and I found that day, I was able to fill this entire jar to its entirety, and I mean like packed it down. Like, I mean really forced it in there. And it lasted, you know, about a month and a half. But actually, making catnip tea takes quite a few buds or just quite a bit of catnip in order to get a nice effect, which I'll go over in a bit. Luckily though, even though if I used up that stuff, because catnip tea is actually really good, I still have some other stuff that I prepared at a different point in time, so I'm going to be using this for demonstrational purposes. And man, if I open up this jar right here, it's very, very strong. So, catnip tea actually has quite a few uses. Catnip by itself is good for, if you're chewing on it or something like that, it's good for helping relieve digestive issues or stomach problems, stomach cramps, stuff like that. But catnip chewed or made into a tea can also help with relaxing the body, relaxing muscles. It just basically acts as a soothing relaxant. And basically almost anything that mint does, catnip can also do, except for it has a stronger relaxing effect. There's a couple other different things it talks about, like it's supposed to help with menstrual cramps and stuff like that, for anyone that might be interested in that. And I mean, I think it tastes really good. Actually, I've had a lot of people, because everyone thinks catnip tea, like they seem so disgusted by the thought of it. But everyone I've had try catnip tea so far says that they actually can't believe how good it tastes. There's been a couple of people so far that say that they can't get over the smell. They like the taste, but they can't get over the smell, which is understandable because it does have a strong, distinctive smell. But if you can get over the smell, the tea itself tastes great. I mean, I personally don't mind the smell much, but if you don't like the smell, but you still like the tea, which is pretty likely, it actually tastes very good. I'm going to go over the brewing process here. So I'm going to move downstairs into my kitchen. It's actually, if you want to get the best effect out of the tea, it's pretty specific. And yeah, let's get to it. Okay, well, the process of brewing this is pretty straightforward, but it's a little bit different from a standard tea brew. One of the reasons is because you have to use a lot more tea than you normally would, and catnip contains a lot of essential oils that are very volatile, which help give it its taste. If you just boil water and you throw catnip in there right away, you're going to lose a lot of the catnip's flavor. So we are going to boil water. I'm going to start with essentially 2 cups. This is a bottle of water. It's 16.9 ounces, so it's just under 2 cups. I mean, 16.9 ounces, so it's just over 2 cups. And I'm just going to turn that on, and I'm going to sear it until it boils. Okay, well, after your water's been brought to a rolling boil, you're going to want to turn down your heat. I'm going to turn mine down to probably about 150. Or cut off your heat altogether. I like keeping it just a little bit warm because it helps with the leaching process, but you do not want it to be extremely hot. Otherwise, like I said, the volatile oils are going to evaporate. If you have a teapot, a really thick teapot that can retain heat for a while, you probably don't even have to keep it on any type of heat. I'm just using a pot because that's all I have. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the equivalent. For each cup, you want about 1.5 tablespoons of catnip. But I'm doing 2 cups, so I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of catnip. And this might be buds or whatever, but I'm going to approximate. So that'd be about 1 tablespoon, that'd be about 2 tablespoons, and about 3 tablespoons. Now if you look in the bottom of this right here, you'll notice black specks. And what those black specks are actual seeds that have fallen out of the catnip flowers. And if you wanted to, you could theoretically just take those and throw them outside and grow more catnip. However, it's currently the outside's covered with snow for me, so I can't do that. I'm now just gonna push this down a little bit, get it in the liquid. I only got another pinch of catnip here, so I'm just gonna throw it in. And next, after you start actually leaching the catnip, you're gonna wanna very quickly cover it up. I don't have an actual dedicated lid for this pot, so I'm gonna use a ceramic plate. And next, all I'm going to do is I have my phone right here, is I'm gonna set a 20-minute timer. That is right, 20 minutes. You have to let it brew for a fairly long time to get the good taste out of it. Otherwise, it's going to taste rather weak. So, I guess I'm gonna let that sit there for 20 minutes. Alright, we are getting pretty close to the point in which we are going to take out this tea and then we're going to strain it. I already have a strainer right here. We're going to use that to strain it into a glass. Let's take a look at it and see how it looks so far. You can smell the tea, the catnip. It's very aromatic. It smells minty. You can see that the tea has taken on a slight yellowish hue, which is good. I'm just going to stop this timer here because by the time that we're done with all this, it's going to be long enough. But yeah, so the tea is looking good. Like I said, basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to strain out most of this catnip here. And then afterwards, I'm going to put this on top of this glass and pour that in there and get out the rest of the catnip. So excuse me 1 second. And there we go. So we have ourselves some catnip tea. Now if you guys are wondering, I accidentally cut my finger the other day, down to the bone, trying to take something apart. But as you can see, there's a slight yellowish hue. Basically, the way I recommend drinking this is... This is about a cup and a half for this entire glass. I recommend 3/4 of a tablespoon of sugar, or 1 tablespoon of sugar per cup. So for here, I'm just going to add in 1 and 1/2 tablespoon of sugar, and then mix it in here. Now, one of the things I was very disappointed about is, in my personal opinion, this does not taste well with honey. I mean, it really does not taste well with honey. One of the reasons I think is because catnip has a minty taste. It has about, I'd say, 1/3 the mintiness of regular mint, like mint tea or something like that. If you mix honey with mint, honey has its own taste, and I do like honey in a lot of teas, but honey has its own taste. Honey mixed with a mint tea is honeyed mint, and for whatever reason, I just do not think that combination goes well together. I'm gonna move back upstairs real quick, and we'll do a last little summary. So, here we are. The catnip tea, like I said, it definitely smells of catnip. It's very aromatic. Basically, take a sip. It's a little bit hot though still. It's a very, very pleasurable tea to drink, in my opinion. Basically, it has an underlying taste of like a nondescript white tea, something that doesn't have a very strong taste by itself, but it definitely has like a little bit of a grassy taste, I'd almost say. Like, just, it's not very distinct, like I said. But then it has an aftertaste of mint. Not very strong aftertaste. I know some people don't like straight up mint tea, but it has just a little touch of mint to the end. Like I said, out of 7 people I've showed so far, this tea, everyone who has tried it thus far likes it. 2 people have complained about the smell. They said they didn't like the smell, but everyone else who has tried it thus far has liked it. And I get the same response from everyone, catnip tea? Catnip tea? You know, like a weirded out response, but it's really good. And even actually one of my friends I went to go make it for, they kind of, you know, they drink a lot of tea connoisseur, and I said I was going to make some catnip tea, and they were like trying to convince me to cut it with other teas and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to make some catnip tea. And they're like, yeah, that ain't going to taste good. then they tried it and they're like, that tastes good. I'm really surprised. So, said catnip tea. You can cut it with a little bit of milk too. It doesn't really have any natural bitterness though, so there's not really much of a point to. It's very good. It's thus far one of my favorite herbal teas that I've found. And like I said, it's easy to acquire. Just grab it right out of your backyard if it grows natively around you with. And because it's an invasive species, it's a high chance that it might. Well, anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to hit the to leave a comment, not hit the comment button, leave a comment, hit the like button, or subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And I do have a few other videos like this that I'm going to put out, one of which being red clover, regular clover, raspberry leaf tea, and even raspberries tea. And I mean, I hope you guys will stay tuned, and I hope you guys will check out those videos too. Thank you guys very much for watching, and bye!
Alright, let's do that again, but this time with just one pumpkin and actually have it in frame right. Ouch. Rest in peace, old Jack. Now, one last time...